RWBY Volume 7, Chapter 3, Ace Operatives has officially released, so let me break it down for you. So, step 1 in Ironwood's new CCT is a go. First, they need to clear out a launch site at an old abandoned dust mine. So they send literally everyone. Everyone except Penny, Winter, and Oscar are being sent. When, in reality, as we'll see later, you could've just sent the Aesops and that's it. But we're not there yet. First, everyone's gotta get an update, both to their clothes and some of their weapons. In all honesty, there's nothing to directly narrate with the plot as I usually do. They go into the mines, find the Geistgrim, and fight it. That's genuinely the entire episode. Its main purpose was showing off everyone's new abilities, from Team RWBY to Team Juniper and all of the Aesops. It was a giant weapons, clothes, semblance reveal fest. So, in that regard, the episode did what it set out to do. But what about everyone's new weapons and outfits? RWBY, I kid you not, she looks so gosh darn good. Her costume change here, my favorite of them all. All of RWBY's past designs and even the other characters' designs, RWBY looks so badass it's almost uncharacter-like. She did get a haircut or styled her hair differently, which shocked me because I almost didn't notice it at first, but it works and it looks absolutely amazing. Her scythe got an upgrade and now she is capable of rotating the scythe portion, I don't know what it's called, around 180 degrees without actually having to rotate the scythe, and I don't like this change. This change, I think, personally dulls the scythe's ability because part of the beauty with it is there's an art to it. Like any weapon, you don't just flail it around. There was an art to moving the scythe and dancing it around her body until she got the blow that she was looking for. If she was rotating it and the blunt end was there, then it'd be a blunt hit. But now it doesn't matter how she uses the scythe because no matter what she does, it'll always turn sharp side up if that's what she wants. Now, you could say that it doesn't matter that much, especially in this current animation, because more often than not, when RWBY is flailing her scythe around, it turns into a cartoon blur, and they can just have it in whatever position they want. Whereas before, you could see RWBY's scythe and it mattered in its choreography more. I just think that this altercation to RWBY's scythe gets rid of the complexity that came with it, which was part of the charm when it came to the fights. It fundamentally changes how RWBY uses her weapon. So, I'm not a fan of the new addition. Not much happened with Weiss. She seems to have gained the hair that both RWBY and Blake lost. I don't know how she did it, but there is significantly more hair on her head. Nothing seems to have been done with her weapon in terms of upgrades or modifications, though not really as though she needs it. She already has 700 abilities. Blake just got a physical change as well. She also got a haircut, though it looks not great. Like, the concept art and all looked pretty decent, but if I'm being honest, it looks like she just stepped out of the shower. Her hair is flat. Like, she didn't do anything with it. RWBY looks like she put effort into making herself look cool. Also, I think personally she's just trying to steal her mom's haircut, but she'll never look as good as her. So, why even try, Blake? You're competing with perfection, alright, we get it, you're jealous, so just let the hot character stay hot while you go complain about how awful things are. Anyway, speaking of not cool, her weapon. Oh my god. When you've got most everyone getting some sort of upgrade or change to their weapon, Blake's got super glued back together. This is what my toys looked like when I was a kid when I broke a piece off of them and my parents just gorilla glued it back together. Forever, just a yellow ring around it. Here we were thinking, oh, she broke her weapon, she's gonna get something new, what's it gonna be? It's gonna be the exact same thing. Ugh, talk about anticlimactic. Yang, she looks the exact same. There's really not too much different with her look. She's the only one who didn't grow and or cut her hair. But in terms of her weapon, she's now got sticky grenades. It's a new addition. Unlike RWBY, it doesn't fundamentally change how Yang uses her weapons. In terms of Team Juniper, nothing's new with Nora. Ren can now shoot his blades with a wire, and Jean... but he's also got one of those Zelda floaty thingies, and he has energy blasts. I guess that's as close as he's ever coming to getting a gun. Currently, there's no saying Nora, Blake, and Weiss didn't get upgrades. They could just be saving it for later. Though, based on this entire episode just being a reveal fest, I wouldn't be shocked if they didn't. Then there were the Ace Operatives. Some of them were as cool as I was hoping them, some of them were cooler than I was expecting, and some of them use a fishing rod. I'm just gonna say it right now, I don't trust this guy. I think he's bad. He's too perfect, for a lack of a better term. He's nice, he's charismatic, he's the leader, he's got the good luck semblance, which seems to be a bit too hopeful for a character like Crow. Like, the ultimate unlucky thing that could happen to Crow right now is this guy be part of the enemy team. It just seems like one of those too good to be true scenarios, but also going off the mindset of what I was thinking last episode, and that's something has to happen for Ironwood to change his mind, thus his plan. So I'm kinda just wonky on his character right now. In terms of everyone else, they got some pretty neat powers. Stretchy aura, the feet monster, speed, and literally slowing down time. This guy's a little overpowered with his little boomerang chainsaw. The one speedster does make a comment about RWBY's speed being different, but I can't tell if she's referring to the fact that she could turn into rose petals, or if it's something else completely different. Because there's been that back and forth for a while regarding RWBY's semblance, because in the beginning, it was definitely speed. There was nothing else to it, she was just fast. Then around volume 3 or 4, it became the rose petal burst. But speed was still a key aspect in it, it just wasn't only speed. But here this episode comes around saying, your semblance is speed. And I'm just like, what? I swear to God, if it's just about the rose petal thing, then you're a couple years and a few lore books behind on that one, show. Maybe it's a semblance evolving? That was a thing that was stated back when that World of Remnant came out, but we've never actually seen someone's semblance evolve yet. It may not even be canon anymore, I'll be honest. I haven't kept up with what is currently canon in a while. Also, Forrest dies. My first thought was he was going to be turned into a robot. I don't know why. Based on how the show represents him, he's not anyone of significance other than just some random revolutionary. So killing him doesn't make a statement because he's not like a public figure. Nor does he seem to have had connections or contributed to anything. He just seems like some random guy as far as we're aware. It might start like a riot in Mantle, but I feel as though there are already riots in Mantle. So right now, I think Watts might be doing some techno mumbo jumbo with him. Or maybe they just killed him because all they needed him for was that one scene and now he holds no significance, so they just killed him. Anyone's guess. Also, sort of, kind of not really elaborated on, was RWBY lying to Ironwood. Yang and Oscar definitely see this as hypocritical, while Blake is an idiot. She says his heart's in the right place, but they don't know if they can trust him. Why? Hell if I know. I think Blake is just trying to make up for that lost time for having never interacted with RWBY before this volume pretty much. But in all seriousness, RWBY is just as enigmatic as Ozpin ever was. They'll tell him, they'll definitely tell him just after RWBY figures out why she's lying in the first place. I'll tell you why, guys. I'll finish RWBY's statement for her because she's not allowed to say it. We'll tell Ironwood just after we can understand the burden Ozpin bared and why he lied to everyone by living life in his shoes for a bit and see things from his perspective. Once we've come to that understanding and we don't hate him anymore, he can finally re-enter the plot like nothing ever happened. Then we can tell Ironwood the information. Those are the words RWBY is looking for but is not allowed to say. Because let's be real, Ozpin isn't coming back unless there is no bad blood. Under no circumstance do Team RWBY tell everyone the truth all the time. Things work out just fine and Ozpin comes back without being outcasted again. They need the first-hand experience and understand why he did it so things can be restored. I mean, as an audience member, you're capable of recognizing Ozpin's line of thinking and can understand it, but for the characters, that's an impossibility. So there's no doubt in my mind that the only point of this is because there is no other way they can think of to return Ozpin back into the narrative. Also, I want to go back an episode and talk about Ironwood's plan because I've been sitting on it, and it's not a bad plan, though it's kind of weird. You see, at first it seems like he's ready to launch an all-out assault on Salem's base, but in reality, all he's planning to do is tell the public that she exists. And after thinking about it for a while, it's kind of weird to me that informing the public of Salem's existence would create a mass panic to the point where he would need the entire military force in one location. Like, I feel as though you can tell the public something without causing a worldwide panic. Am I wrong? All you have to do is not be a negative Nancy about the whole thing. Be optimistic, instill hope into the people. Paint Salem's discovery as a step in stopping the Grimm as a whole instead of the end of the world. Like, I feel as though RWBY thinks once she tells Ozpin the information, he's going to go out in front of everyone and just be like, citizens of Remnant, we're all gonna die! I feel as though it's not as hard as they're making it out to be to not cause a worldwide panic. I don't know, in real life, I've never seen a world leader act like the enemy they're fighting is better than them. It's all about instilling hope, making people believe that they're safe, that they will crush the opposition. Like, with the right speech, I think Ironwood's plan of telling people about Salem's existence is actually pretty reasonable. Oh, what else happened this episode? I thought there was a bad moment in dialogue with Weiss and Blake. Basically, she tells her that she wishes she could do all the things that her ancestors and family did because she's a changed person. And I thought it just was bad dialogue, to put it plain and simple. It was just like, hey Blake, I'm a changed person, and I want you to know that I'm a changed person. So I'm going to tell you that I'm a changed person. Hey audience, I'm a changed person. It just didn't feel necessary. The part where she recalls hearing of the mine collapsing when she was younger from her father when he was angry, I think is neat. But the audience, I think, was already in agreement that Weiss has changed. And also, it's one of those actions speak louder than words. But then again, Weiss's action was both figuratively and literally trash. So I guess she failed in both regards. Anyway, I managed to talk about this episode a lot longer than I expected. In the end, this episode is a fight, meant to reveal costumes, weapons, abilities, and whatever else can be revealed through 12 different characters. Moral of the episode is Blake will never be as hot as her mom.